Why is paid social perfect for small businesses looking to grow?
Let's tea talk about that.
Welcome back to another Tea Talk. Now, the eagle-eyed among you will notice something's a little bit different. There's a new person in the midst. Yes, this is Matt's very first Tea Talk. A huge welcome, Matt.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, well, this is going to become a regular feature. So Matt is going to feature as part of Tea Talks, along with myself, along with Darren and many other new faces. We've got a really interesting topic to talk about today. And you have, look at him, he's come prepared. See, I just bring a mere notebook. But Matt, he means business, and he's come armed, Matt and his Mac. So you know he means business. Now, there'll be people watching this go, who's Matt? Who is Matt? So do you want to just give us a little intro? Who are you? What are you doing sitting here?
My name is Matt. Paid social has been the kind of everything that I've been kind of living and breathing for the last 10 years. And you asked me about a fun fact, and the start of my journey in social was actually when I met the king.
Okay, you got right. Stop it. Right, we just bear with us for 5 minutes. We're going off on a tangent. I'm telling you that now. What? How?
So at the start of my social journey, I was in organic, and I was working at the Royal Cornwall Show, and the king. So it was when it was Prince Charles, not the king.
Yeah.
And he was like wandering around, you know, and he came over to me and my friend, and started asking us about our tattoos because we have very similar tattoos. The sleeve.
Amazing.
And my biggest regret is that I didn't ask him if he's got any.
You should have done that. Did you get a picture with him or anything?
Do you know what? I was like, because there was a massive crowd, and I was thinking there must be somebody that has a photo of this. So we started asking around. People were coming over to us saying, like, what was he saying to you? All that kind of thing. And then nobody really had any photos. And then later on in the day, I was at another kind of store stand thing, kind of like, you know, walking around, sussing everything out.
Yeah.
And I got chatting to the official royal photographer. And I said to him, I was like, obviously you saw me having a chat with Prince Charles. Did you capture it? And he went through his camera. Amazing photo. So I'll have to dig them out and share them with you at some point.
We're gonna have to. Well, that's gonna have to be. And then Archie, make a note. You're gonna have to overcut that because we've got to get a picture and put that. Have you got them? Like, could you find them?
Yeah.
You can find, okay, amazing. Yeah. We'll have to put a little picture. So look at that.
Yeah.
Didn't know. So basically, we're mixing with royalty now. With people that have, you know, regal. I've always thought Evergreen's quite regal. There you go. So amazing. I love it. And we should say, for those that don't know, or maybe that have missed the brilliant uncut episode that we put out at the start of the year, which was a couple of weeks ago. That we sort of introduced who you are. So yeah, Matt's recently joined Evergreen as our head of paid social to take Meta and all of the other wonderful social platforms just to another level. I'm just so excited to have all of your expertise, your experience in Evergreen, and excited to see what you're going to do, which is amazing.
I'm excited.
One of the things you're going to be doing is joining us on Tea Talks and through Uncut and so on to share your expertise. And so we're going to start, as we mean to go on, and talk about, well, today we're going to talk about why it's paid social is perfect for small businesses looking to grow. You have come armed with your Mac with notes. So come on then, kick us off. Just give us a sort of a whistle stop then in terms of why do you think paid social is so perfect for small businesses looking to grow online?
For me, a lot of small businesses start on social organically. So they already have a bit of a kind of, you know, a presence on social already. And organic social posts work really well in paid. I think sometimes that's where people get a little bit kind of caught up, is that it's an ad, so it has to be very addy. Whereas actually businesses that are kind of just sort of starting out maybe in paid, they've already got some of those foundational pieces there that we can kind of just get going with.
You can take what they're already using. So does that mean, because I'm thinking of there'll be businesses watching this going, well, we started doing stuff on organic. Does that mean they could just go and boost their posts?
It does.
Okay,
but that's not necessarily what I would recommend.
Saying it true, it does through gritted teeth. We don't want them to do it.
Yeah, and I think that could even be a whole episode in itself in terms of like why you would boost and why you wouldn't and things like that.
Right.
But typically, if we see some really good content that's working organically, we would bring that into Ads Manager.
And in terms of that good content, it could be any form, right? It could be videos, it could be It's just that.
Yeah, we always want to mix, really. We want to mix, especially when we get into paid. So then, we're giving ourselves and Meta as much opportunity across different formats to optimize and tweak.
So for small businesses, just if maybe they haven't done it or they're dabbling, I think your point about a lot of businesses are doing their social, maybe they've got some of the team and they're putting stuff out, but they then think we want to advertise. Oh, now we need to get the polished, the finished ads. But you're saying maybe don't need to do that. Some of the better stuff is to just take what you're already doing.
100%. And that doesn't mean low quality. Okay. So just because you're going authentic, you're going organic, it still needs to be good lighting, shot nicely. You can use an iPhone, whatever it is.
Sure.
But it still needs to be high quality.
Okay.
So that would be kind of like the first thing in terms of paid social. But also, if you're posting organically anyway, let's just start leveraging paid, get more reach, get more eyeballs on the brand.
Yeah. And so give us some examples then of some of the content, like a small business that is probably doing stuff. What stuff are you seeing that works well? That you're going, oh, that's a great. If you saw something, you'd go, that will probably work well in an ad. Just give us a couple of examples.
Yeah, so I think it depends on where the customer is in the journey.
Okay.
And this is another reason why paid social is brilliant, because it is a full funnel strategy, right?
What do you mean by full funnel?
So Google search, we already know that people are in consideration or buying mode, right?
Because they're looking searching,
for it, right? Whereas we have an extra layer on top of that funnel, which is awareness, basically awareness and reach. So we can use paid social to do the bit that Google search can't do, but then tie in with what Google search can do and do all the retargeting and things like that. So looking at a full funnel strategy, awareness, consideration and conversion as a simple kind of 3-step funnel.
Yeah, and so when you're talking about full funnel, that's what you mean?
That's what I mean.
So awareness, okay, nice. Yeah. That makes sense. And the other thing as well you can do with paid social, when essentially you're putting a few quid by, is that targeting piece. So you can get very, very, just give us a bit on that in terms of how specific can you be and what does that look like? Because that's really where you can make or break the campaigns, isn't it? The success of them.
Yeah, exactly. So, what's great about paid social is how granular that you can be. So if you're a local business, you can do like 10 kilometers of your local business. If you're UK wide, worldwide, whatever, you're going to target that geographically, but then you can narrow that down to say, people that are interested in certain topics that's related to your brand. Demographics, age, gender, that kind of thing. Okay. We are seeing a shift at the moment in paid social in terms of that broadening out, in terms of how we actually target that. That's a whole conversation that I could talk hours about. Okay. And that's where the importance of creative kind of comes in to do a little bit of that targeting for us. Depending on where you are in that customer journey, you might want more kind of brand storytelling, behind the scenes stuff at that awareness phase. Right. Consideration, that's more around, us vs them, or testimonials, social proof. Yeah. What makes you unique compared to the competitors. And that will be different for different people. So we want to test those different messages depending on the avatars and the personas that sit within that. And then the conversion is kind of just a message, buy now, discount, that kind of thing. So more kind of direct and to the point.
Before we go any further, if you're enjoying today's Tea Talk, you'll love our Grow with Evergreen podcast. Specifically created for home, garden and lifestyle brands, it's a podcast dedicated to discussing paid media and marketing. Every episode, we're joined by a brand that wants to grow online. We delve into their business, dissect what they're doing, and define a digital growth strategy they can take and deploy into their business. And best of all, you get to listen or watch along, then take those learnings into your own business. Make sure you check it out on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. But for now, let's get back to today's Tea Talk.
Okay, and the audiences that you've got, obviously you've got those different stages of the funnel. The retargeting piece, where does that fit into? Because I talk a lot about retargeting. So from your perspective, where does retargeting fit into that whole sort of ecosystem?
So kind of mid consideration and then conversion. Okay. So for example, if we're running, paid search, we can retarget. I know we've spoken a lot about that in terms of people that are viewing the website, engaging with socials. Yep. We can even look at if they're watching 25%, 50% of a video. Okay. That kind of thing. So we're using on-platform data as retargeting audiences to do that as well, which is really good because we're not worried about pixel data and things like that. Yep. Kind of retargeting, consideration, and then conversion. Okay, nice.
And so I think as you say, we all know retargeting is very, very powerful. And I think that full funnel, I think is a lot of businesses will be mindful they can do that, but be thinking, oh, we need ads and specifically. But you're saying we can take some of the content you're already doing, the best bits, and you can go into Meta or whatever and look at the posts that have performed well organically and think, I'm going to take that and just put a few quid behind it and just let it go.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not about reinventing the wheel. So if you are a business that's a bit sort of like, oh, I don't know. I know that we've got organic, we're posting stuff. We want to take it to the next level. We're it's like something like 2% of people that actually follow your account will actually see the content that you post. So it's like, actually, let's get more eyeballs on this stuff.
Yeah.
And you don't need to spend a lot of money to do it. You get quick insights. So yeah, just taking what you're already sort of doing from an organic creative perspective, and you can iterate on that. So you might you can do some tweaks. You don't have to necessarily exactly use what you're doing on organic.
Yeah, you can.
Having that base content there, we can work with to then get it ad
So that's
friendly.
a really interesting point. So you think for brands for small businesses that are looking to think, oh, we could tap into, should we tap into paid social? That what you're saying essentially can quicken the pace, because you're saying you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You don't need to think, oh, we're going to do this new thing. We need all new content, but actually take what you've already got.
Yeah, and I think that's where a lot of people actually fall down, is that they think it's this whole different thing.
Okay.
But like, let's just go back to basics. Let's strip it back. It's still the same platform. If it's organic or paid, you're on social. You're interrupting. It goes back to that point of Google search being, people are already looking for it. We are interrupting people.
Yeah.
So when we're interrupting people on social, let's make it as social friendly as it can be.
Yeah. Interesting.
And you can go more addy as you move further down the funnel, because we've done the warming up, we've done all the engagement. They're already engaged. They're just on the about to buy. So we can be a little bit more addy and direct.
Yeah, and a little bit more stronger calls to action and stuff like that. To just because you want them to take the action that make them buy the product, or
and they're more likely to do that by this point because they know,
because they've seen. And it's something that we talk about a lot on TV, which is just humanizing your brand, isn't it? It's making yourself relatable and actually showing the behind the scenes. This is what we're up to. This is how we're doing and what we're doing. It just helps to put faces to names and go, oh, okay, that's that. And as you say, it helps you stand out, because not everyone's doing this stuff, are they? Everyone's still in that mindset, still going, ads need to be very formulaic and very structured and very addy.
Yes.
And you're saying it just doesn't need to be like that.
It doesn't need to be like that at all. And I think it's still very early days in terms of some brands like not even like really doing social or doing social properly.
Okay. So give us a couple of practical things then that business owners watching this will think, okay, that sounds good. I'd never really thought of it that way. What are some things that they could literally watch this and they could think, I'm going to go and look in my account and then look to find things that are either working or not? Is there any some practical things that they could actually go and implement and do right now?
Yes. So, organic social, Instagram, Meta, TikTok, whatever it is, Facebook, is a treasure trove of data. So what I like, reels are becoming big. So if you're a brand that posts a lot of video reels, then looking at how many views you're getting on those reels and the engagement on that would be a good place to start. If it's not a reel, engagement, shares, likes, comments, that kind of thing, reach. So just look at as much of those data points as you can to go, okay, actually that looks like a good post. That's done well organically. And get it into a paid ad.
Do you think it's worth, if you put a post out, and I know there'll be people that think this, that think they'll put something out organically and they'll think, I'm pretty confident that's going to do well because it's a good story or there's a good theme to it or whatever, but it doesn't perform well. So it doesn't get the shares, it doesn't get the views, and they're frustrated by, it's not, I thought that was going to work and it just hasn't. Do you think it's worth sometimes using a bit of ad spend to almost prove the point? Do you think that's worth doing that?
Yeah, I do. I think that, it might just be that it just didn't catch the algorithm at the right time or whatever. So you've got posting something organically that works really well, and then that will eventually fatigue. But if we put spend behind it, that's a good ad, that's a good creative to use. If you're not really sure, and this is why paid social is great, get it in an ad and just put some budget behind it. It doesn't need to be a lot of money. It could be like £10 a day to get data. So and what's great about that data is it's not only about paid social. It's like if you start doing testing around different products or messages, that can inform your other channels. That can inform your business strategy. Social's a really good way to test quickly, cheaply, and get data to inform other aspects of your business and your marketing.
Knows what he's talking about, doesn't he? Right, so, okay, that brings us on.
One thing I did just want to say very quickly in terms of knowing what ads to use and where to put it. I think the key thing here, and this is, 101 boring, but what is the goal? What is the objective? So if you're going to take that organic post and put it into Ads Manager and put some money behind it, how are you measuring that? Is it engagement? Is it reach? That's going to come down to the funnel and what your objectives are as a business. Is it brand awareness? Is it sales or whatever? Because is it simply, actually, we're just going to start with a small test budget, and what's most important to us right now is demonstrating that we can get somebody from an ad to the website. So that's traffic and clicks. And then you might build on that and go, okay, we're going to spend a bit more now and go for the conversion. And then that would be, CPAs and Rubas and stuff like that.
Love it. All the marketing acronyms, which we love on TikTok. Now, okay, so I just want budgets, because that's the other thing people will be going, they'll be thinking, okay, it all sounds great. I'm going to leverage my organic content, but do I need to be spending thousands of pounds to make this happen? What are your thoughts if the brands that either aren't doing it or just dipping their toe, what is the sort of the minimums you can be spending to sort of, budgets, what do you need? What do you need to do?
So, depends.
The classic marketer's answer. Exactly that.
So I've got like a nice scale that I like to sort of use. So if you're starting out, never done ads before, what are you happy to lose?
Okay.
Because you don't know what it's going to do yet. It's a brand new ad account, you've got no data, nothing. What are you prepared to lose? And then you've got the other end of that scale is what makes you feel uncomfortable spending.
Right, okay.
And that's going to be relative to how much you're making as a business. If you're spending, if your turnover is £1 billion and you're only willing to invest 20 quid, you're not going to notice it. You're not going to care. You're not going to be emotionally invested. So it's finding that sweet spot.
Right.
In terms of what to spend. In terms of actually seeing stuff happen, £10.
Okay.
As a per day.
You can just start with a few quid just to get
as a minimum.
Okay.
That is going. I mean, technically, you could spend £1 a day on Meta. Like it will let you do that.
Sure.
But in terms of getting data, and insights, and things like that, £10 a day. Now, obviously, that's going to limit you in terms of how much testing you can do, how many audiences you can do, how much creative that you can do. But simply just starting small on £10 and just do that over a longer period of time.
What's a longer period of time?
So you might want to do a couple of ads for £10 a day for 2 to 4 weeks.
Okay, fine.
And then review it.
So none of this starting for 3 days, see what I get, and then
absolutely
no,
not.
just doesn't.
Not with 10 quid. Maybe with 10 grand.
Okay, fine. So it's either a little bit of budget over a long period of time, or a lot of budget over a short period of time.
Absolutely.
You've done both of those scenarios.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Right. Okay. Just before we wrap up this Tea Talks, I haven't told you we're going to do this. So what I want to do is just because people will be watching this and going, he knows some stuff. So just if you wouldn't mind, just give us a little insight in terms of your background, your experience, the sorts of ad accounts have you worked. You've worked on small accounts?
Yes.
You've worked on some pretty chunky accounts?
Yep.
So just give us a little, you don't have to name names, but just give us a little flavour of some of the stuff you've done. Just your credentials. Just share those sort of, those paid social credentials. So what people have just heard you talk about for the last 10 minutes in terms of those basics, those fundamentals, it comes from a place of what level of experience? Just give us a little flavour of what that looks like.
Yeah, sure. So when I first started out in paid social, I was spending on clients like 500 quid a month.
Sure.
So very, very, very small spends. I love that though, because you have to work harder to make that budget work harder. So you have to be a bit more creative. You have to be in the account, looking at what's going on, iterating and trying to make that budget go as hard and as far as you can.
Yep.
That then right up to like 500k in a couple of months on a big campaign.
Okay.
So, and that's across different niches, kind of lead gen, e-com, home garden lifestyle brands, B2B. So very mixed.
Real mixed bag.
Very, very mixed bag.
I mean, the stat there that I just took away from that is, accounts from 500 quid a month to 500,000 in a couple of months and everything in between.
Yeah.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why we brought him onto Evergreen. Amazing. Full marks. I think you've done amazing. What do we think, Archie? Darren, what do we think? How did full mark? Darren's well, he's sitting over there. He's going to put his head in. Look, there he is.
This is my seat. Where?
It's mine now.
Right. While we have internal debates about who's going to be on the most Tea Talks going forward, I think we're going to wrap this. But just to say, I think he's done well. I'm sure you are loving having Matt on as well. Darren's giving him a thumbs up. Archie's happy. Archie's over there. See, they're all off screen. They're all around. But yeah, just to say, huge thank you for joining us. We hope you're still loving the new Tea Talks set. We've got so many ideas and several new faces coming along in upcoming episodes. So stay tuned. If you haven't subscribed on YouTube, make sure you do. You've got Tea Talks, you've got Evergreen Uncut, and you've also got Grow with Evergreen podcast. Everything's available on all your favourite visual and audio platforms. Thanks as ever for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care.